Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In today's video, I'm diving into the build I've been using to dominate Vanguard level 4. I'll walk you through everything you need, step by step. Skills, legendary gear, set items, legendary gems, and Vanguard charms. I'll admit, I've been slacking on this mode for a while. My Vanguard charm is only at rank 15, but after putting this build through 10 to 15 successful runs without a single failure, I can confidently say it's reliable, especially for anyone struggling to make progress in their Vanguard journey. Now, I'm not claiming this is the perfect build, but it's a setup that's worked consistently for me, and it might be just what you've been searching for. If you find this video helpful or just love Necro content, make sure to hit like and subscribe for more builds, tips, and guides. Alright, let's jump in. As always, let's kick things off with the skills. For this build, I've carefully chosen a skill set tailored specifically for Vanguard level 4. Summons aren't ideal for this content. They tend to die frequently, adding unnecessary complexity to your runs. Instead, we're focusing on a more reliable, damage-oriented approach. Soul Fire, Bone Armor, Corpse Explosion, Corpse Lance, Grim Scythe. This setup is similar to my standard farming skill build, but with one key change. We swap Wraith form for Bone Armor, and there's a good reason for that, which I'll explain shortly. By removing summons and leaning into this combination, you'll find it much easier to handle the challenges in Vanguard level 4 without the hassle of babysitting fragile minions. Next up, let's talk about the legendary gear, the cornerstone of this build. As I mentioned earlier, this setup is quite similar to my farming build. If you've seen that video, you'll notice the playstyle remains almost the same. If you haven't, make sure to check it out. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss future updates and builds I'll be showcasing. Now, let's dive into the gear. Studied Menace. Corpse Lance now causes enemies to decay, dealing damage over time and amplifying the overall damage of Corpse Lance. Parting Gift. Bone Armor grants you and your party members 5 charges of damage immunity, each absorbing a single hit. This is a critical piece for the Necro skill setup in this build. I'll explain why in a moment. Cleansing Pyre. Corpse Explosion consumes corpses to summon Soulfire pyres that orbit you, continuously burning nearby enemies. It also increases Corpse Explosion's damage. This essence is a newer addition to the game, and I've included it because the effect is both powerful and visually satisfying. Ravening Silence. Grim Scythe now triggers all continual damage on targets it hits, causing them to instantly take the remaining damage. Additionally, the cooldown for Grim Scythe is reduced. Defiling Swarm. Grim Scythe conjures whirling scythes that orbit you, damaging enemies and generating corpses. This synergizes perfectly with Ravening Silence, creating a potent combo that removes all continual damage from targets. Clotburst. This simply boosts the damage of Corpse Explosion, making it a perfect pairing with Cleansing Pyre for maximum AoE destruction. Departed Appetite. Corpse Lance now consumes nearby corpses to create a vortex of bones around you, dealing damage to enemies. It also increases Corpse Lance's damage, further enhancing your offensive capabilities. Spite Feeder. Soulfire gains a chance to explode on hit, dealing AoE damage and burning enemies. While Soulfire isn't a primary focus in this setup, the added burn effect is useful for moments when you need to pause and reposition. Now, let's go back to Parting Gift, and why it's essential for Necros in Vanguard. During battle, you'll occasionally receive a notification that your corruption is about to overflow. Normally, this would require you to move away from your group, as the debuff inflicts massive damage on you and nearby allies when it expires. With Bone Armor and Parting Gift equipped, you can remain safely in the group. The damage immunity charges from Bone Armor completely negate the effect of the corruption debuff, saving you the hassle of repositioning and keeping your team intact. Let's move on to set items, which are straightforward but absolutely crucial for Vanguard builds. Feasting Baron's 2-piece bonus. This set increases the duration of your harmful effects by 30%. Given the number of damage over time effects we're using in this build, this bonus is invaluable for maximizing damage output and overall effectiveness. Vithu's Urge's 6-piece bonus. In my opinion, this setup is essential for Vanguard content. Here's why. 30% increased duration of beneficial effects. This boosts both your buffs and those of your party, enhancing survivability and performance. 30% attack speed boost. Every time you use a skill that grants a beneficial effect, you and your party gain a 30% attack speed boost for 3 seconds. Perfect for quick bursts of damage during critical moments. 12% life regeneration. When you use a buffing skill on yourself or a party member, you create an area for 12 seconds that regenerates 12% life for anyone inside it. This adds an excellent layer of sustain, especially during tough encounters. Let's talk about legendary gems, arguably one of the most versatile aspects of this build. There's a wide variety to choose from, depending on your playstyle and how much you've invested in the game. Here's a breakdown of the best options by star rating. 1-star gems, Everlasting Torment, a classic damage over time gem that synergizes beautifully with Grim Scythe and Ravening Silence. Misery Elixir, extends the duration of all damage over time effects you inflict on enemies. Another excellent choice for enhancing your Grim Scythe plus Ravening Silence combo. 2-star gems, Viper's Bite, grants a 100% chance to apply Viper's Venom, causing the target to take damage over 6 seconds. This pairs perfectly with Grim Scythe and complements Misery Elixir. Pain Clasp, increases your damage output against enemies suffering from damage over time effects, amplifying your overall efficiency. Mother's Lament, grants a 20% chance to boost your critical hit chance when dealing damage, adding a nice burst potential to your attacks. Mourniskull, a newer gem that provides a straightforward boost to all your damage, great for maximizing output. Igneous Scorn, makes your critical hits trigger explosions that damage nearby enemies. A solid option for area of effect builds. Fervent Fang, each hit increases the damage the enemy takes from subsequent attacks, making it perfect for prolonged fights or boss encounters. 5-star gems, Blood-Soaked Jade, increases all damage while at full health. The effect diminishes as your health drops, but it remains a strong option for consistent damage boosts. Roiling Consequence, dealing damage grants rage, increasing your critical hit chance. Crits cause explosions that burn nearby enemies for 3 seconds. Works seamlessly with Grim Scythe plus Ravening Silence. Seeping Bile, grants your attacks a chance to poison enemies, with the poison spreading if the target dies. A fantastic synergy with damage over time effects. Void Spark, dealing damage conjures a Void Spark that can unleash lightning, chaining to up to 8 enemies. Great for area damage. Wolfhjort, marks enemies as you attack. At 5 stacks, the mark is consumed, dealing massive damage to the target. While there are many viable options, the following gems stand out as the most beneficial for this build. Everlasting Torment, Misery Elixir, Viper's Bite, Pain Clasp, Roiling Consequence. Aim for these gems to maximize your damage output and enhance the synergy of your skill setup. Let's wrap up with Paragon and Vanguard charms. Paragon, I'm using the Slinger Tree with Benefactor as the legendary Paragon skill. This setup has been smooth and reliable. Vanguard charms, I've been using Might Broadside at rank 15, but plan to switch to Might Valor's Call or Bane Blight Orb. The key is to do your 5 matches twice a week to level up your charm to the max rank 20. I've included an image of all the charms for reference. Hope this helped with Vanguard. Like and subscribe for more Necro content.